Welcome to this deep dive from Modern Talking Language School.
Great to be here.
Today, our focus is all about learning the Serbian language in a really enjoyable way. Let's call it, let's learn Serbian the fun way.
Sounds good.
And, you know, it might surprise you to hear this, but this entire exploration, this whole deep dive into Serbian language learning, it's actually been put together using AI, drawing on all the fantastic resources developed by the Modern Talking Language School team.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable how technology lets us engage with languages now in such new ways. And Modern Talking Language School, founded by Sonia back in 2019, they really championed this modern approach.
Right.
This deep dive is, it's a perfect example of that innovative spirit they have.
Absolutely. So if you've been looking for ways to really, immerse yourself in Serbian beyond maybe a traditional classroom setting, you've definitely come to the right place. We've gathered a whole load of resources today. Cartoons, movies, podcasts, literature, even radio and Instagram.
Quite a mix.
Yeah. So whether you're just starting out or maybe looking to improve your existing skills, or perhaps you're just curious about Serbian culture, well, our goal is to give you some engaging, effective ways to get started.
Sounds great.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, maybe something a little unexpected for language learning. Cartoons.
Cartoons. It's funny, they get overlooked, but they can be surprisingly effective, especially when you're starting out.
Why is that?
Well, it's mostly the language. It's simple, everyday stuff, familiar situations. Plus, you've got the visuals helping you out the whole time.
Gives you context.
Exactly. Makes it much easier to pick up new words and phrases.
Makes sense. And we've got a couple of specific examples, right? Both on YouTube.
Yeah. First one is Peppa Pig.
Okay, Peppa.
Simple show, obviously, but it's packed with those daily conversations and common expressions you actually hear.
Right. Real language.
Yeah. And it's straightforward. Really good for beginners. Plus, it's in tons of languages. So you can even watch it in your own language first to get the gist.
Oh, that's a smart tip.
It helps reinforce things.
Yeah.
Peppa Pig introduces basic sentences, basic vocabulary in a really low-pressure way. And kids' shows have that repetition, which really drums in the patterns of the language, the rhythm.
You just sort of absorb it. Okay, cool.
Okay.
And the second one?
The second one's a classic SpongeBob SquarePants.
Get out! Yeah. SpongeBob for learning Serbian?
Seriously. Think about it. Loads of us already know the plots, the characters.
True.
So that makes it way easier to follow along in Serbian, even if it's new. Your brain isn't working quite so hard on the story.
Right. You can focus on the language.
Exactly. And, let's be honest, it's funny. Appeals to pretty much everyone, which makes learning feel less like work.
That's a really good point. Using what you already know to sort of scaffold the learning.
Precisely. It frees up mental energy to process the new language. It's a solid strategy.
Okay, so from cartoons.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a bit. Movies. Another great way to immerse yourself. Yeah.
Definitely. Films give you that cultural context alongside the language. We've got a few suggestions for different levels.
Great. Where do we start?
Well, for a real taste of iconic Serbian cinema, you got to check out Balkan Spy.
Balkan Spy. Okay.
You can find it on YouTube and, crucially, with English subtitles.
Good.
This isn't just any film. It's, still quoted all the time in Serbia. It's based on a play by a really, really respected Serbian playwright.
Wow, so it's culturally significant.
Hugely. And if you're feeling ambitious, you could even try and track down the original script to read alongside.
That's advanced, but cool.
Yeah, it's valuable because it's so rooted in the culture. You get the humor, the social commentary. For, more advanced learners, comparing the script and the film, that gives you a much deeper understanding of the nuances. Written versus spoken.
Got it. Okay, what's next?
Next up is Barking at the Stars. Another really beloved film, across generations, also on YouTube.
Barking at the Stars. Love the title.
It's great. Now, finding a full translation for this one might be a bit tricky, but don't let that put you off. The humor, the charm. People say it's pretty universal.
So you could still get something from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe start with scenes that do have translations, just to kind of ease yourself in.
Right, use the visuals, the acting.
Exactly. It highlights how important nonverbal cues are. Even without subtitles, you can often figure out what's going on, pick up words through context.
Okay, good tip. What else?
For a look at Serbian landscapes and traditions, we recommend More Beautiful Than Paris.
Another great title.
It is. It's a play on a common Serbian saying, "My village is more beautiful than Paris." That local pride.
Ah, I see.
This film shows you some lesser-known parts of Serbia. Stunning scenery, family customs, hospitality. It's all in there.
Sounds lovely. Subtitles.
Availability varies, apparently, but it's still considered really worthwhile for that cultural immersion aspect.
Just soaking it in.
Yeah. Seeing the country, the people. It really deepens your connection, your motivation to learn the language, connect to it all.
Makes sense. Okay, one more film.
One more, aimed at more advanced learners. Traveler Andrew on YouTube.
Traveler Andrew, what's his focus?
He explores fascinating, often pretty remote places. And his episodes have Serbian subtitles.
Okay.
But here's the thing. They aren't always direct word-for-word translations of what he's saying.
Oh, interesting. So it's more of a challenge.
Exactly. It really pushes your reading comprehension. You have to infer more. But you're discovering cool new places at the same time.
Right. It makes you actively engage with both the spoken and written language.
Precisely. Develops those inference skills.
Cool. Okay, so that's movies. Let's switch focus again. YouTube series. Seems like a good middle ground.
Yeah, they offer a great mix of culture and language practice. First one is A Foreigner in Serbia, also on YouTube.
Okay, A Foreigner in Serbia. What's the premise?
It shares stories, real experiences from people who've actually moved to Serbia.
Oh, interesting. From their perspective.
Yeah, and a really valuable feature. It has subtitles in the Cyrillic script.
Ah, so good practice for reading Cyrillic.
Fantastic practice. While you're getting these genuine insights into what it's like adapting to life there.
That sounds incredibly useful. Authentic perspective and practical reading practice.
Exactly. You get the real-world understanding alongside the language.
Okay, what else on YouTube?
Get ready for potentially the cutest show on our list. Little Know-It-All.
Little Know-It-All. Tell me more.
It's simple. Kids answer questions. Things like, what is a diet? Or who is the boss?
Oh.
And their answers are just so unfiltered, honest, sometimes surprisingly deep, and often absolutely hilarious.
I can imagine. Is it good for learning?
Well, it's presented as a challenge, definitely for more advanced learners.
Why is that?
Because understanding how kids talk fast, informal, maybe not always grammatically perfect, that's often seen as a real sign of high fluency.
Right. It's a different kind of listening skill.
Totally. It highlights the diversity within a language.
Okay. Intriguing. What's next?
Something maybe a bit more familiar in format. The morning will change everything. You can watch the first episode for free. People often call it Serbia's version of Friends.
Ah, okay, so sitcom style.
Yeah, realistic, funny, relatable situations, potentially really helpful for learners. The first episode has English subtitles.
Handy.
And if you get hooked, the rest are on RTS Planeta.
Yeah.
Though there might be a small fee if you're watching from abroad.
Right, but using that familiar sitcom format could be a really comfortable way in.
Definitely. The subtitles give you a safety net at the start, help build confidence before maybe trying without.
Good plan. Okay, one more YouTube series.
Last one here is Andrew and Angela, again on YouTube.
Andrew and Angela.
This is actually a Serbian adaptation of a Canadian series about marital issues, relationships.
Right.
Now, this one doesn't have subtitles.
Ah, okay. A bit more challenging then.
Potentially.
Yeah.
But the humor is apparently quite easy to follow, very relatable stuff, so it's still popular with language students.
Right. Back to using those visual cues and universal themes.
Exactly. Even without subs, if the situation is relatable and the acting's clear, you can still pick up a lot.
Makes sense. Okay, brilliant. So we've done cartoons, movies, YouTube series. Let's move into the purely auditory world, podcasts.
Yes! Podcasts are fantastic. Learn on the go, immerse yourself while you're commuting, cooking, whatever.
Totally. What's the first recommendation?
Would you like a coffee?
Catchy name.
It is. And it supposedly blends grammar, help with cultural insights, all in a really warm conversational tone.
Nice. What level?
Suitable for all levels, apparently. And, bonus, it's free.
Can't beat free.
What's great about something like this is the balance. You get the structure, the grammar, but also the context, the culture. And that conversational style makes it feel less like a lesson.
So natural.
Yeah, like listening to a friendly chat.
Okay, cool. What if someone wants something a bit more structured?
Then there's the Come to the Coffee podcast.
Another coffee theme.
Seems to be popular. This one is specifically designed for language learners. Each episode is like a mini lesson. It's noted as being ideal for, serious learners. It does have a subscription cost, though. It's about €15 a month.
Right. So you have options, free and informal or more structured and paid.
Exactly. That mini lesson format suggests a very systematic approach.
Yeah, good to know. Any others?
We should also mention the Serbian language podcast, another option out there for audio learning.
Okay.
It really just shows There's a wealth of resources now, different styles, different focuses.
Definitely. And one more podcast.
Yes, the Field Domesticated podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This one's interesting. It's tailored specifically for the Serbian diaspora.
Oh, right. People living abroad.
Exactly. It features interviews, stories, practical tips about adjusting to life outside Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
Focuses on language, sure, but also identity, emotion, belonging.
Wow, that's really specific and potentially very meaningful.
Yeah, it highlights that connection between language and identity. It offers language practice, but also community, cultural relevance.
That sounds fantastic.
Oh.
Okay, so from listening, let's talk. Reading, literature, might seem a bit daunting.
It can be. So the suggestion isn't necessarily to jump straight into the really famous complex writers.
Right.
There's actually a documentary mentioned, 10 prominent Serbian writers, which introduces key figures. Good background, but their actual works might be tough for beginners.
So build up to it.
Exactly. It's a sensible approach. Don't overwhelm yourself early on.
So where should someone start with reading?
Well, the advice is actually similar to the cartoons idea. Start with stories you already know in your own language.
Ah, familiar plots again?
Yeah. If you know the story, you can focus your energy on figuring out the Serbian used to tell it.
Makes total sense. Okay, what about for intermediate learners? Any specific authors?
Yes, a fantastic recommendation for intermediate level is Momo Kapoor.
Momo Kapoor, okay.
He was an amazing journalist, writer, painter, multifaceted. His writing is said to really capture the Serbian spirit beautifully. It's accessible, but still deep.
Sounds like a sweet spot.
It really is. And the specific tip is to try reading his books in parallel. Get a copy in Serbian and a copy in your native language, and read them side by side.
Oh, clever for comparison.
Exactly. Great for building vocabulary, understanding sentence structures in context. Kapoor connects with readers, reflects the culture without being overly dense.
Excellent suggestion. What if you prefer listening?
Good news. There's even a Momo Kapoor audiobook available.
Perfect. Options for different learning styles.
Yep. Audiobooks are brilliant for listening comprehension and pronunciation practice, too.
Definitely. Okay, so Kapoor for intermediate. What about absolute beginners wanting to try some kind of Serbian book?
For that, the recommendation is classic, The Little Prince.
Ah, of course.
It's timeless, right?
Yeah.
And the language is relatively simple, short, clear sentences. It's perfect for building that initial confidence.
Universal themes, straightforward language, great starting point.
Couldn't agree more. It's rewarding.
Okay, literature covered. What about radio? Another passive listening tool.
Absolutely. Tuning into Serbian radio online is a fantastic way to just absorb the language passively. You hear repetition in music, ads, show formats.
Just letting it wash over you.
Kind of. For pop music fans, or just fun radio segments, Noxy Radio is recommended. Listen live online.
Noxy Radio. Got it.
That passive listening really helps your ear get used to the rhythm, the intonation of Serbian, even if you don't understand every word.
Right, familiarization. What if you want something more talk-focused?
Then Radio Belgrade is the one. It's a cultural staple. Great for news, talk shows.
Okay.
The hosts apparently speak very clearly, use rich vocabulary. They specifically mention a show called Carpe Diem for current events discussion.
Good for more formal language exposure then.
Exactly. News vocabulary, more complex sentences used in reporting and discussion.
Okay. Anything for younger listeners or families?
Yes. Kids Good Morning Radio. Perfect for little ones or parents wanting to introduce Serbian in a really fun, family-friendly way. Also live online.
Nice. Introducing it early through fun stuff.
That's the idea. Fosters a positive connection from the start.
Good call. Any other radio?
Just a quick mention of Radio Lola for fans of traditional Serbian music.
Okay. Music's another cultural window.
Definitely. And finally, kind of related to radio but visual too, The Puzzle.
The Puzzle. Like a quiz show.
Exactly. It's Serbia's longest running quiz show. You can watch episodes on YouTube.
How does that help with language?
Because it has a predictable structure. You start to anticipate the kinds of questions, the phrases used. It's surprisingly good for picking up common vocabulary, hearing proper grammar, and you can even play along.
Huh. That sounds fun, actually. The structure provides context.
Yeah, very beneficial. Repetition of key phrases, vocabulary related to the topics.
Brilliant. Okay, last category then. We're hitting the modern age. Instagram.
Yep, Instagram's great for visual bite-sized language and culture engagement.
Quick hits. What accounts should people check out?
First up, Balkan Dad.
Balkan Dad. Sounds like it could be funny.
Apparently it is. A humorous take on Balkan culture. Entertaining, sure, but also gives you that cultural context, maybe some informal language too.
Humor's always a good learning tool, makes things stick.
So true. Understanding the humor often means you're getting the culture too.
Okay, Balkan Dad. What else?
If you're interested in Belgrade itself, follow Hidden Gems of Belgrade.
Oh, nice. Travel tips.
Kind of. It shows off lesser-known spots in the city. Beautiful photos, but the key is they have short Serbian captions.
Ah, reading practice.
Exactly. Little bits of reading practice tied to visuals. Really effective for associating words with images.
Smart. Okay, next.
For a dose of positivity, check out the Factory of Happy News.
Factory of Happy News. I like it.
Yeah, it shares heartwarming stories from around the world, all written in short, relatively simple Serbian.
So you can learn language while feeling good?
Why not? Integrates learning with your interests, keeps you motivated.
Good point. Okay, last Instagram recommendation.
One for the grammar fans. Daily dose of orthography.
Ooh, getting specific.
Right.
Orthography.
Yeah, spelling, punctuation, dialects, common mistakes in Serbian, all that stuff.
So for people who really want to nail the details.
Exactly. A practical, accessible way to really polish your written Serbian. Essential for building a strong foundation.
Wow, okay. That is a lot of resources. From Peppa Pig to grammar rules on Instagram.
It really covers the spectrum, doesn't it? Shows there's so many ways to learn.
Well, that brings us pretty much to the end of this particular deep dive learning Serbian the fun way.
It's been great exploring all these options.
Yeah, definitely. And just a heads up, in our next exploration, we'll be diving into Serbian music more and also getting into some deeper cultural tips.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. We really hope you enjoyed today's journey through all these fantastic resources.
It would spark some ideas.
Absolutely. And if you want to explore more from Modern Talking Language School, just visit moderntalking.rs or, follow them on social media.
Thanks for tuning in.